Let's dive into the mysteries of China. The Yangshan Quarry sits just outside Nanjing. It's one of the most incredible archaeological sites we have today. What sets this quarry apart? Its sheer size and the massive stone that ancient builders tried to chisel out of the mountainside. This huge block weighs around 16,000 tons. That's much heavier than any stone we've ever seen. For perspective, even the biggest block in Baalbek is only about 1,200 tons. When you look at these side by side, it's clear that the builders at Yangshan took on a daunting challenge, one modern engineers still can't replicate. Experts have taken a good look at the surface of this giant stone. They noted that the cuts are remarkably straight, the faces are slick, and the edges are sharp, no signs of hasty work here. This suggests a methodical approach, not just brute force. Down at the bottom of the stone, researchers found big square holes. These could have been used by the ancients to insert wooden beams or tools to help lift and move this hefty block. It highlights how talented the Yangshan people were at quarrying stone and how they planned carefully to transport these enormous pieces. But it's not just the craftsmanship that's fascinating. The Yangshan stone has some odd knobs sticking out from it. Their purpose is a mystery. Similar knobs pop up at other famous sites like those in Peru and Egypt. Some think they might have been for tying ropes to move or assemble the stones. Others suggest they're marks from builders using the same techniques across different regions. A real puzzler is how the ancient people at Yangshan even thought about moving a stone that heavy. When we look at today's lifting technology, even the biggest cranes can't handle 16,000 tons. It leaves us wondering if the people of Yangshan had some secrets of their own. There's a possibility that some advanced technology, which isn't noted in modern history, was involved in the creation of these sites. Researchers think that the giant, unfinished stones at Yangshan, along with abandoned stone projects around the globe, hint at a huge event that abruptly stopped all the work. Exactly what happened remains a mystery, but it's clear these places bear silent testimony to a once thriving civilization that mysteriously disappeared. Today, the Yangshan Quarry captivates scientists, archaeologists, and history enthusiasts from all over the world. Each visit brings up deep questions about what the ancients knew and whether crucial pieces of human history are lost under layers of dust. Then there's the discovery of Lu Cave and other vast underground systems. Back in 1992, villagers in Zhejiang province, China, stumbled upon one of the greatest archaeological finds of our time. While draining ancient fish ponds, they uncovered a series of stone steps leading down into the ground. Intrigued, they kept pumping out water, eager to see what lay hidden below. After days of hard work, they uncovered the entrance to a huge man-made cave system, completely undocumented in their history. Experts who arrived found a complex of 24 gigantic caverns, all carved by human hands thousands of years ago. Each cave had nearly flat floors and ceilings with smooth stone walls and slopes at exact 45-degree angles. What really astonished archaeologists were the uniform marks on the cave walls, all made at a 60-degree angle. It's puzzling because despite China's rich tradition of detailed record-keeping, there's no mention of how these caves were built. This opens up a world of questions. Who created this intricate cave system? What was its real purpose? Many theories exist, yet none provide a clear answer even today. The amount of stone taken out to form these caves adds up to millions of tons. They had enough materials to create a whole small city. But when scientists looked around the area, they found no leftover rubble or debris from where the stones were taken. It's like all that stone just disappeared into thin air. This is a huge contrast to modern mining, where you always see piles of waste next to construction sites. The fact that millions of tons of stone vanished adds to the mystery of this place. Liu Cave isn't alone in this. Across China, there are other hidden cave systems that hint at advanced. Almost near the Yellow River, you'll find the Hashan Cave complex. It has 36 caves carved deep into the cliffs, each one enormous with intricate designs and a level of craftsmanship that's astonishing. What ties these caves together is the complete absence of any evidence showing how they were built. There are no records, no documents, and no waste material. The sophistication of these sites seems way ahead of their time. To this day, we still don't know the true purpose of these structures, who made them, or why the work suddenly stopped. Then there are the Gaju Caves. Discovered in 1984, researchers stumbled upon this unique cave complex in the mountains northwest of Beijing. Here, ancient people left behind an architectural mystery that modern science hasn't solved yet. Known as the Guaju Caves, it remains the largest cave city found in China. The Gaju complex has over 117 caves and about 350 rooms, all carefully carved from solid granite. It covers around 25 acres, roughly a quarter the size of a small American town. Each cave is different in size and shape, but together they show clear planning and order. Some caves are big enough for entire families, while others are smaller, perfect for individuals or couples. What blew scientists away was the discovery of stone staircases, linking different levels and a smart drainage system designed to prevent flooding during the rainy season. Many rooms are held up by columns, which support the stone vaults above. This design makes the inside both strong and airy. There's a particularly eye-catching small temple right in the center of it all. It's made entirely of stone, featuring beautifully carved pillars and a big stone bed at its heart. This whole setup shows that ancient builders really understood architecture, advanced techniques, and could rally a workforce for large projects. What's really puzzling about Gaju is that even with its huge size and impressive construction, archaeologists haven't found any solid evidence of people living there over a long, copied way. Period. We don't really know why the Gaju caves were built. Some think it was a refuge for a large community, a secret religious group, or maybe even a prison for an ancient dynasty. But without strong historical evidence or artifacts, these ideas are just guesswork. Most researchers believe Gaju was built between 1,000 and 2,000 years ago, during the late Tang dynasties or the early Five Dynasties period. But many experts think it could be much older. Some construction details and carving techniques hint it might be from a lost civilization, or even show signs of special communities that once lived there thousands of years ago. Gaju, with all its mysteries, stands as a bright sign of the creativity and intelligence of ancient people. It's one of China's greatest mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. Then there are the ancient pyramids of China, which have continued to baffle researchers over the years. For decades, both Chinese archaeologists and international teams have focused on the strange pyramid structures scattered throughout central China, especially in Shanxi province. More than 200 pyramids have been spotted thanks to satellite images and reports from Western explorers from the last century. However, most of these pyramids are off-limits to scientists and the public, thanks to strict local regulations. Excavating or studying these pyramids is nearly impossible, and even local residents are kept at bay. Researchers have been fascinated by the idea of planting trees on pyramids. Why? To help them blend into the landscape and not attract attention. What really surprises people is the sheer size of some of these pyramids. Take the White Pyramid, for example. It towers at around 300 meters, almost twice the height of the famous Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Can you imagine the effort it took to build something like that? We're talking about 50 million tons of stone. That's a mind-boggling amount, even when you think about the greatest ancient civilizations. Yet, despite their impressive size and design, the White Pyramid and others like it in Shani are missing from most history books. When experts look at pictures from the sky, they find something intriguing. The arrangement of China's ancient pyramids is similar to famous ones elsewhere, like the group in Giza or Teotihuacan in Mexico. They're all intentionally lined up with astronomical directions. Many of the Chinese pyramids even show a slight tilt that matches the Earth's slow wobbles over thousands of years, a complex detail that only advanced civilizations could have understood. Moreover, many of these pyramid clusters in China point directly toward the constellation Orion, just as the ones in Giza and Teotihuacan do. This has sparked theories that ancient cultures across continents might have interacted or shared knowledge about the stars. Some experts think that the vast amount of stone used for the Shang's pyramids came from ancient cave systems like Lu or Hashan. They believe that the stone taken from these caves might just match what was needed for the pyramids in Central China's plains. While we don't have solid evidence to back this up yet, the link between these caves and the pyramids remains a fascinating mystery. It challenges what we think we know about history and the building techniques of ancient people. Throughout history, many ancient cultures have shared stories about incredible figures believed to have brought knowledge and technology that helped humanity make great strides. In ancient Mesopotamia, folks talked about the Akalu sages with the bodies of humans and fish. These beings were sent by the god Enki to teach people vital skills and wisdom they hadn't known before. They weren't just teachers, they were also seen as protectors and guides during the world's chaotic beginnings. Over in ancient Egypt, this role was taken by the god Thoth, often depicted with an ibis head. Thoth was celebrated as the father of hieroglyphic writing. Egyptian priests believed he blessed them with immense knowledge on everything from pyramid construction to timekeeping and cosmic rituals. You'll find Thoth's image in countless reliefs and on thousands of ancient papyrus scrolls, constant reminder of the figure who laid the groundwork for Egyptian civilization over ages. In Central America, ancient cultures like the Aztec and Toltec revered Quetzalcoatl, the enigmatic feathered serpent. He taught people how to grow maize, use metal tools, keep calendars, and craft sophisticated items. According to legend, Quetzalcoatl arrived from the east in a serpent-shaped boat, and after sharing his wisdom, mysteriously vanished. Still, his teachings were passed down through generations. Meanwhile, in China, the Yellow Emperor is not just seen as the nation's ancestor. He's credited with teaching people many foundational skills like house building, bronze casting, vehicle making, crafting bows and arrows, growing rice, writing, composing music, and developing medicine. Every significant achievement in ancient China is linked to him, marking the start of a remarkable era for the nation. Today, some researchers, including archaeologists and anthropologists, suggest that these legendary culture bringers might have been real people whose stories morphed into myths over time. They became gods or legendary figures, appearing in cultures from east to west. While there's no solid evidence to support this theory, the similarities in these culture bringer stories continue to fascinate us. Around the globe, the unexplained structures from the past continue to captivate scientists and archaeology lovers alike. Let's turn our attention to ancient Japan and explore its mysteries, especially the link between legends and the idea of aliens. One of the most notable stories is the Takati Monogatari, or the tale of Princess Kaguya. This tale begins with an old bamboo cutter who stumbles upon a glowing bamboo stalk, and inside he finds a lovely little girl. They name her Kaguya, and as she grows, she becomes a breathtaking young woman who enchants everyone around her. But one day, Kaguya drops a bombshell. She tells her adoptive family that she isn't from Earth. She hails from the moon. Eventually, she returns home in a bright, light-filled vehicle, leaving her loved ones behind, filled with awe and sadness. Today, many think there's more to this story than just a fairy tale. Some believe it might hint at ancient human contact with beings from other worlds. This idea goes beyond just stories. For example, there's the Utsuro Bunain incident from 1803. Fishermen in Hitachi found a bizarre, round-shaped boat washed up on the shore. When they opened it, they spotted a mysterious woman with red hair, dressed in strange clothes, and holding an odd box. The inside of her craft was covered in markings that nobody could understand. The woman couldn't speak Japanese, and even now, no one knows where she came from or what that weird vessel really was. Some modern researchers think this might point to alien contact, especially since the descriptions of the craft and the woman's outfit resemble modern depictions of spaceships. Moreover, many tales from Japanese mythology share themes with the ancient astronaut theory. In Shinto, the Japanese faith, there are kami supernatural beings thought to have come from the sky, bringing advanced powers and wisdom. Some legends even say that Japan's first emperors were descendants of these kami, blessed with divine blood. The blend of these tales about heavenly ancestry and stories of extraterrestrial beings raises intriguing questions about whether Japan's history holds clues to mysterious encounters that remain unsolved today. All these elements, from old legends to strange historical events, paint a picture that suggests the ancient Japanese might have witnessed things we can only dream about now. No matter the true story, these tales keep sparking curiosity in modern folks, pushing them to dig into the puzzles of the past. Take Mount Noari, for example. Nestled in Chiba Prefecture, Japan, it's one of the most striking megalithic sites you can find. The locals call it Saw Mountain, thanks to its long, sharp cuts that look like saw blades carved into the rock. As you get closer, these smooth cuts stretch from the base of the mountain all the way to the top, creating massive stone walls that reach nearly 100 feet high. What's really fascinating is how flat and even those cuts are. Some are so straight, they seem to have been made by a giant knife or some kind of advanced machine, something people back then definitely didn't have. You can see that the stone edges are nearly perfect, showing no signs of chipping or rough crafting, unlike what you'd expect. From primitive tools, records show that the Japanese started quarrying at Mount Nori during the Edo period around the early 1600s to the late 1800s, using basic tools like hammers and chisels. But when you look at those deep, straight cuts with their flawless surfaces, it really highlights how different they are from anything made with Edo tools. Traditional Japanese tools could only manage shallow lines and could never create this kind of precision. especially on massive stones weighing tons. Because of these strange features, many researchers believe Mount Nokogiri could have been an ancient quarry, possibly dating back to prehistoric times, when a more advanced civilization might have thrived there. Comparing the cuts at Mount Nori with those at other famous sites, like Pupapunku in Bolivia or ancient quarries in China, people have noted some surprising similarities. If those cuts really do date back to prehistoric times, that opens up a whole new chapter in history. Ancient people had stoneworking skills that were far more advanced than we ever thought possible. Take Mount Nokogiri, for instance. Its towering stone walls rise high above the forest, creating narrow valleys and twisty paths that feel almost like a natural maze. Experts believe that making or even moving these massive stone walls would have required a huge number of workers and many years of relentless effort using only simple tools. But if there was an ancient civilization with advanced tech, what we see at Mount Nokogiri might just be their footprint. The precision of the stone cuts raises big questions about how Mount Nokogiri came to be and whether our history books really tell the complete story. When you visit Mount Nokogiri today, you're not just soaking in the stunning views and famous sculptures. You're standing in front of one of the biggest puzzles of ancient stonework skills. E-sharp lines and smooth surfaces here leave researchers scratching their heads. No one can pinpoint which civilization made them, how they did it, or what these structures were really for. All these questions are still waiting for answers from future archaeologists. As you explore Mount Nokir, you'll see more than just those amazing stone walls with their strange cuts. You'll step into a unique cultural environment. The highlight is the enormous Buddha statue called Nihonji Dabutsu. Carved straight into the rock, it towers 31 meters tall, making it one of Japan's biggest Buddha statues. But there's more than just the Great Buddha. You'll find over 1,500 smaller figures, known as rakan, scattered along the mountainside. Each one is beautifully carved, showing the Buddha's disciples in various meditation states. As you stroll the winding paths, these little statues pop out amidst the rich greenery, sometimes hidden under the trees or resting quietly against the steep rocks. They were crafted by skilled artisans, fueled by a profound dedication to Buddhism. Most researchers agree that these Buddhist structures mainly came about during the Edo period, a time from the early 17th to the 19th centuries when religious art really thrived. Across Japan, you'll find a rich tapestry of art, featuring countless temples and grand Buddha statues scattered throughout the land. If you take a closer look, you'll see that these impressive sculptures are often carved right into huge rock formations, sometimes even to the very cliffs themselves. This has sparked a theory that the people of the Edo period didn't create these sites from scratch. Instead, they may have inherited them from previous civilizations. They possibly worked with ancient stone walls, cliffs, and natural rock hollows to shape their own stunning Buddhist artworks. So when you gaze at the famous pieces at Nokiri, you're not just witnessing the creativity of the Edo period, you're also connecting with the deep mysteries of societies long gone that we're still trying to understand. Now, let's talk about the Ishino Hoden, also known as the floating stone. Located in Takasagago in Hyogo Prefecture, this remarkable megalith has a shape that gives the impression it hovers above a small pond. When you see Ishino Hoden in person, its colossal size will leave you in awe. This massive stone block weighs about 500 tons and is nearly a perfect cube, with sharp edges and smooth, polished surfaces. But what makes Ishi truly special is its position in the pond, making it seem like it's floating on the water's surface. Beneath the stone, there's an underground spring that flows consistently, no matter the weather. The water in the pond remains crystal clear and cool, creating a serene and mysterious vibe around the stone. For many generations, locals have believed that the water here has healing powers and brings good luck to those who stop to pray. The existence of Ishi no Hoden has led to various theories about its real purpose. Some think it might be an ancient energy source, tapping into the underground water. Others believe it was a sacred site for mysterious rituals related to water and rebirth. There are even ideas suggesting that Ishi could be a part of an enormous machine built by an ancient civilization to harness that underground water. When researchers look into Ishi, they often notice similarities between this stone and the Osiron in Egypt, another ancient megalithic complex. Ishino Hoden is well known for having water flowing right beneath it, similar to what you'd find at Takasago. Both structures boast large stone blocks and are linked with the mystery of underground water. This brings up some big questions about what ancient people might have known both technically and spiritually. When you get close to Ishino Hoden, you can really feel the solemn and sacred vibe. Locals still see it as one of Japan's biggest mysteries. It's a spot where the past meets the present. The floating stone's origins, purpose, and true meaning are still a mystery, adding to the rich puzzle of Japan's history. If you dive into ancient Japanese culture, you can't miss these intriguing little statues called dogu. They go back over 14,000 years to the early Jomon period. What blows archaeologists away is how these statues look. They often have big heads, round eyes, and bodies that seem to wear something like protective armor or even spacesuits. Back in the Jomon era, Japan had a sparse population, mostly living off hunting and gathering, yet these dogu figures pop up in many places all around Japan. This raises some serious questions about what they really mean and where they come from. In addition to dogu, there are also small reptilian figures that appeared later in the Jomon period. And these aren't just found in Japan, they look a lot like famous figures from ancient Mesopotamia. Both versions show creatures with long heads, big eyes, and scaly skin, kind of how we picture extraterrestrials today. The fact that dogu and reptilian statues show up in different regions and times, especially when people had little contact with one another, has led to some wild theories. Some think these could be echoes of old memories of encounters with aliens. Others believe ancient folks saw mysterious beings and decided to make little statues of them. Another idea is that these ancient civilizations had their own reasons for creating these figures. People have long shared stories and ideas about a time when humans, gods, and other worldly beings walked the earth together. The mystery of the dogu and reptilian figurines still lingers. They not only show the vibrant creativity of ancient cultures, but also bring up big questions about our past today. Looking at these statues, it's hard not to wonder, is our understanding of history truly all there is? Or do these strange artifacts point to a much bigger story waiting to be discovered? Now, let's dive into some fascinating global mysteries we put together. In southern Africa, there's a surprising discovery in a remote area. Archaeologists uncovered what seems to be the ruins of an ancient city, thought to be over 200,000 years old. That's mind-blowing when you think about what we usually believe about human history. These ruins consist of various stone walls, some round and some oddly shaped, spreading over land that most people had never paid much attention to. Locals had viewed these walls in the fields for ages, thinking they were just remnants of old farms or nothing special. They didn't realize this area once held many gold mines, with most of the gold taken away in the last 5 centuries. The gold richness has sparked many theories. Some say this ancient city was home to the Anunnaki, the cosmic gods that the Sumerians worshipped. Legends from Mesopotamia tell about these beings from the sky who came to Earth, brought life to humanity, and then vanished mysteriously. Some modern researchers think the Anunnaki didn't just come to watch. They came to mine gold. They propose that, using advanced genetic technology, they created humans to work for them. While these tales are fascinating, mainstream archaeologists still view them as myths, ideas rooted in stories but lacking solid evidence. What has been discovered are merely ancient stone fragments and remnants worn down by time and nature. Most of these structures are mostly seen from satellite images overhead. It's tough to survey the time's ground because the areas are really remote and have been worn down over thousands of years. Now, if we entertain the idea that the Anunnaki theories could be true, finding this ancient city would mean we'd have to completely rethink how we view the rise of the world's first cities. This suggests that humans, or maybe another species, built complex cities over 190,000 years ago, way before we saw civilizations like Uruk or ancient Egypt. If that's true, it opens up a flood of questions about where humanity began and what role the gods in Sumerian mythology might really play. But so far, the global archaeological community hasn't bought into the idea of an Anunnaki city in Africa. There's no proof that alien technology showed up here, nor is there any solid evidence of beings from outer space, like the legends say. All we've got right now are crumbling stone walls and signs of a community that once thrived here. Still, these ancient ruins in such a barren land continue to pique the interest of archaeologists and the curious public. Many are still searching for answers, hoping that one day we'll solve the mysteries of a city that could be over 200,000 years old. Could it just be a lost prehistoric civilization, or is it the last clue of an Anunnaki tale that's been handed down through generations? Now let's talk about the Black Knight satellite. It's one of the weirdest stories from the 20th century. The legend of the Black Knight satellite is still a mystery today. People often just call it the Black Knight. For more than 100 years, rumors and theories have been buzzing around that this strange object is orbiting Earth, and nobody knows where it came from. many think it's not something humans made, but a device sent by aliens. This tale kicks off in 1899 when the famous inventor Nikola Tesla was experimenting with radio waves in Colorado Springs. While he was working, he picked up some strange radio signals that he called unusual. Tesla suspected that these signals might be coming from beyond our planet. Back then, there were no artificial satellites in orbit, and people hadn't even thought about traveling into space. Tesla wasn't alone in his curiosity. In 1928, a Norwegian engineer named Jürgen Haus picked up some strange repeating radio signals that seemed to come from nowhere. He found out these signals had an unusual delay, something you couldn't just chalk up to normal physical science. This added fuel to the idea that something from outside Earth might be sending out radio waves as it circled our planet. The tale of the Black Knight really took off in 1954 when UFO researcher Donald Cole went public, saying the US Chow 430 Donald Cole went public, saying the US Priest's Air Force had spotted two unidentified objects floating around Earth. At that point, no country had satellites yet. Fast forward to 1998, and the Black Knight legend sparked back to life when NASA's shuttle Endeavour went on the STS-88 mission. Astronauts snapped a mysterious picture of a large black metallic object adrift in space. That photo went viral and stirred up a lot of debate. Many people thought it showed the infamous Black Knight satellite that everyone had talked about for years. But NASA experts and veteran journalist James O. Berg had a different take. They said the object in the photo was really just a thermal blanket that fell from an astronaut's grip while working outside the space station. No aliens involved, just a little mishap. Scientists have kept insisting that all those strange radio signals from the late 1800s and early 1900s were either natural events or equipment glitches, and had nothing to do with aliens. Despite all the logical explanations and solid evidence, the legend of the Black Knight satellite continues to capture people's imaginations. For over a century, it's been part of conversations about UFOs, conspiracy theories, and the great mysteries of the universe. The truth is, even now, no one has definitively proven whether the Black Knight really exists. No one knows exactly what it might be. We don't really know what this object is, where it came from, or what it was meant for. All that's out there are some strange radio signals, a debated photo, and a legend that's been around for over 120 years. In 1896, something fascinating happened in southern Egypt. Archaeologists found an unusual mummy in the area called Gabaline. This mummy belonged to a man who lived around 3,500 BC over 5,000 years ago. They named him the Galeen Man. His body was nearly perfectly preserved, not because of the usual embalming techniques the ancient Egyptians used, but due to the tough natural conditions of the desert. After his discovery, Gabaleen Man's mummy made its way to the British Museum in London, where it has remained in quiet repose for more than a century. For a long time, few people really thought about what happened to him. But with new technology on the rise, scientists became curious about how he died. They used advanced CT scans to look inside the mummy without causing any harm. That's when they found a deep wound on his shoulder and back, a stab from behind. This blow shattered his shoulder blade and left bone fragments lodged inside. Experts think he was suddenly attacked from behind with a sharp weapon. The evidence suggests he was between 18 and 21 years old when he died. Given the brutal nature of his injury, it seems clear he didn't just pass away from age or illness. Instead, he probably fell victim to a mysterious murder long ago. After he died, they wrapped Gabaleen Man in a simple linen cloth, buried him in a shallow grave, and covered him with the scorching desert sand. It was that dry heat that did wonders to keep his body intact for thousands of years, helping us slowly piece together the story of his intriguing death. What scientists have uncovered makes clear that the Galeen Man isn't just an archaeological find. He's a powerful reminder of the hardships, violence, and mysteries that marked human life in ancient Egypt over 5 millennia ago. In 1965, a team of archaeologists in China made a remarkable find. They unearthed an ancient sword, over 2,000 years old, inside a tomb in Hubei province. This wasn't just any sword. It belonged to King Gujian of Yue, a legendary figure in ancient Chinese history. What left scientists scratching their heads was that, despite being buried for centuries, the blade was completely free of rust or corrosion. It was so sharp that it could slice through paper with ease. While digging through the ancient cemetery of the Chu Kingdom, the experts uncovered around 50 tombs and over 2,000 artifacts. But the Gujian sword truly stood out. They found it in a wooden box next to a skeleton sealed tight and well protected from the elements. One archaeologist, while testing the blade's edge with his finger, accidentally cut himself, proving the sword was as sharp as it had been when it was first made over 2,000 years ago. This sword is crafted entirely from bronze and tin, featuring a straight design and beautiful engraved patterns. The hilt boasts 8 ancient Chinese characters, marking it clearly as the sword of King Gujian of Yue. Researchers believe this was the very weapon wielded by the king around the 5th century BC, during the end of the spring and autumn period. The biggest mystery that scientists still struggle to explain is how this sword remained in such excellent condition after so long in the damp, sulfur-rich soil of Hubei. Chemical testing shows that the blade has a super thin layer on its surface which shields it from oxidation and keeps it rust-free. Even though many researchers have tried to replicate this technology, no one has been successful. Today, the sword is celebrated as a national treasure of China, often compared to the legendary Excalibur. It is now housed in the Hubei Provincial Museum, continuing to mesmerize scientists and history lovers from all corners of the globe. While the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, God punished Pharaoh for refusing to let them go by unleashing 10 horrifying disasters on the land. These were truly extraordinary occurrences. The river turned to blood, frogs flooded the area, and swarms of flies and locusts destroyed crops. Livestock perished in droves, people suffered from bizarre illnesses, darkness blanketed the earth, and ultimately every Egyptian family lost their firstborn son. For centuries, no one could understand how such extreme events could happen all at once. But today, scientists have come up with a reasonable explanation for these disasters. They think it might link back to one of history's most violent volcanic eruptions, the eruption of Santorini around 1600 BC. When that volcano erupted, it sent massive amounts of ash and harmful gases into the air, carried by the wind straight to Egypt. The ash and chemicals released may have significantly changed the Nile Delta's environment. Many scientists believe that minerals and acids from the volcanic ash got into the water, possibly turning the river blood red. This could explain the first plague mentioned in the Bible. The sudden environmental shift might have pushed frogs to jump out of the water and swarm the land, leading to the second plague. As the river became polluted, insects like flies, mosquitoes, and locusts thrived and wreaked havoc on the crops, which aligns with the following plagues. Livestock and grazing animals suffered greatly because both their water and grass were poisoned. People developed skin diseases from exposure to acid in the rain and tainted water, while thick clouds of ash blocked sunlight, plunging the land into darkness for days. Similar to the plague of darkness, some scientists even proposed that the death of the firstborn could have stemmed from an old Egyptian practice where the eldest kids ate first, making them more vulnerable to poison from contaminated food after a natural disaster. While we can't be sure that every biblical event occurred exactly as described, the Santorini eruption theory provides an interesting possibility. The strange events of ancient Egypt still spark discussion among historians, scientists, and believers in miracles. One topic that grabs attention is the 10 plagues. This story never fails to inspire those curious about history and the powerful forces of nature that shape human fate. Now, let's talk about Ramayana, a figure from the epic tale of Ramayana which connects India and Sri Lanka. Ramayana is known as the mightiest demon king who ruled over what we now call Sri Lanka. His legacy includes tales of his incredible strength and magic, but what keeps people talking is the mystery of how he died. According to old stories in Sri Lanka, after he lost a battle to Prince Rama, Ramayana's body wasn't buried like most. Instead, it was placed in a cave high up on a remote mountain, nearly 8,000 feet in the air. This spot is tough to get to, meant for only the brave. Legends say his body was wrapped in a special resin formula lost to time that prevented it from decaying for thousands of years. Residents claim that if someone lays eyes on his remains in that cave, they'll find his skin and hair unchanged from the moment he died. The intrigue grows with stories suggesting that this cave not only holds Rana's mummy, but also a hidden treasure, fiercely protected by poisonous snakes and bizarre creatures that defy belief. Village elders and monks warn that anyone who tries to enter the cave or steal its treasures will face dire consequences. They believe Rana's ancient curse is very much alive, and the guardians of the treasure won't hesitate to attack unwelcome guests. Some tales even mention a huge coffin, 18 feet long and 5 feet wide, sitting at the center of the cave with Rana's body inside, surrounded by stone walls covered in mysterious symbols and heaps of gold, silver, and jewels. Legends take it a step further, saying that Ramana used his magic to set up deadly traps and mythical creatures guarding his treasure and body from intruders. Many expeditions have gone out to prove the story of Ra's mummy, but so far no one has found solid evidence of the cave or his remains. Scientists, archaeologists, and even spiritual seekers have scoured the forests and mountains of Sri Lanka looking for clues. All they've ended up with are intriguing tales passed down through local communities. Although the reality of Rayana's mummy is still unknown, the story of the unspoiled body, the cursed treasure, and the protective beings continues to captivate the hearts of the Sri Lankan people and fans of the great Ramana epic. This legend shows a belief in magical powers and the idea that kings might live forever, which is deeply rooted in Indian and Sri Lankan culture. It also symbolizes the mysteries that still puzzle modern humanity. Now, let's move to the sacred spring of Fidion in the tranquil landscape of northwest France. This intriguing spring, known as Fed Dion or Fedion, has been a topic of interest for explorers, scientists, and locals for hundreds of years. What sets FSY Dion apart is not just its constant flow of water, but the fact that no one has figured out where it actually comes from. Ancient records indicate that the Romans relied on Fedion for water and religious ceremonies. Later, Celtic tribes viewed the spring as holy, conducting rituals for good fortune and peace by its banks. In the 18th century, the French built a public bath at the spring, and for generations people have enjoyed its crystal-clear water. Still, the source of this water remains a mystery. The flow in Fsidian is always strong and never seems to dry up. It averages about 311 liters per second, whether in freezing winters or scorching summers. Yet every effort to trace the water's origin has come up empty. Modern researchers have tried various measuring methods, chemical tests, and geological surveys, but none have succeeded. Researchers figured out where the underground water actually starts. But beyond the science, Fidion is wrapped in local legends. One popular tale suggests that this spring is a doorway between two worlds, a thin line separating the living from the dead. Folks around here believe a giant serpent lurks beneath the water, guarding the entrance to the afterlife, keeping the curious at bay. These bizarre stories have only grown, especially after the 20th century when professional divers tried to explore its depths to find out its secrets. Tragically, in 1974, two skilled divers lost their lives navigating the dark underwater tunnels. Another diver died in 1996 under similar circumstances. Because of these losses, local authorities banned diving in FSY Dion for years. It wasn't until 2019 that a seasoned diver named Pierre-Eric Dine got the green light from officials to dive again. He went down more than 230 feet further than anyone had gone before into total darkness. But even he couldn't uncover the spring's true source. He speculated that the waters might lead to massive unexplored caves yet to be discovered. To this day, Fidion remains one of Europe's most mysterious underground. End of Essex. No one knows where its water comes from or what secrets lie beneath the earth. All we can do is keep guessing, share stories about this gateway to another world, and recount the endless tales of adventures beneath the cold ground in rural France. Now, let's talk about the underground city of Ether in Turkey. Up in northeastern Turkey, surrounded by chilly, windswept hills and towering mountains, archaeologists found an ancient underground city buried deep in Ether province. This city is around 3,000 years old and is one of the biggest discoveries in the history of underground settlements in the area. What amazes many is that for thousands of years, the entire city was hidden, completely unknown until the late 20th century. Experts say that the Ether underground city was built entirely by hand, featuring winding tunnels, living spaces, and rooms for storing food. Wells and various spaces are all linked by narrow passageways. The stone walls show markings from primitive tools, proving these people labored for years to build such a complicated system. Some underground layers dive more than 6 feet under the ground, providing refuge from harsh weather and invasions. Over time, this underground city turned into a safe place for different communities. Historical accounts tell us that early Christians used this space to escape persecution, living quietly and holding secret ceremonies. Later on, Muslims also found shelter here during war and chaos. The entrances were well hidden, known only to locals or those who had specific directions. Today, Modern archaeologists have uncovered remnants of kitchens, gardens, underground reservoirs, and big rooms that once hosted community gatherings. Some corridors still feature well-preserved stone steps that lead down to even deeper levels waiting to be explored. Even after all these years, the air in the tunnels stays cool and peaceful, bringing a haunting reminder of a time when living underground was essential. Today, Ida's underground city stands as a testament to human resilience and a captivating spot for archaeologists, researchers, and anyone interested in ancient mysteries. Beneath Turkey's soil, the tale of this 3,000-year-old city is far from finished, with many secrets waiting to be uncovered in future digs. Now, let's talk about the anti-gravity jar of Kurigiri, India. About 300 years ago, in a small village called Kerigiri in southern India, local artisans crafted an amazing kind of ceramic jar that continues to astound those who see it. These jars are called anti-gravity jars because they can hold water inside without spilling, even when flipped upside down. Oddly enough, when turned over, the water doesn't leak out from the bottom. It can only be poured out through a small spout on the side. Tales are still shared in Kerigiri about these ancient creations. Craftsmen created over 100 different types of magical jars, each with its own shape and purpose. Yet only 12 of those original jars have made it to today. They're all carefully kept in museums across India. Each jar is crafted entirely from fired clay, with no moving parts or springs. What baffles modern scientists is how these potters designed the jars so that water doesn't leak out of the tiny holes in the bottom when the jar is flipped upside down. When experts took a closer look, they found that these jars can only be filled through those small holes when they're upright. Turn one upside down and the clever internal design keeps air from getting in, stabilizing the pressure and keeping the water inside. The liquid only flows out through the spout at the top when someone pours it. The trick lies in a system of tubes with 2 funnels and a curved pipe inside the jar, directing water to flow in one specific way. To this day, we haven't fully figured out how these anti-gravity jars were made. We don't even know the name of the first potter who invented this unique design, nor do we understand why this craft faded away so quickly. Potters in Kargiri often share tales of their ancestors who made over 100 kinds of jars for various uses, even though most have been lost or damaged over time. The anti-gravity jars of Kurigiri are far more than ordinary pottery. They stand as a testament to the creativity and keen observation skills of people from long ago. Today, the jars that still exist fill the pottery village of Kargiri with pride and spark inspiration for scientists studying fluid physics and designers of household items everywhere. Every time someone sees the jar flipped upside down without a drop of water falling, they can't help but marvel at the mystery left behind by those ancient artisans. In 1986, a significant discovery rocked the archaeological world in Sichuan province, China. Workers unexpectedly uncovered 2 massive sacrificial pits deep underground. Right from the start, experts knew they had stumbled upon an archaeological treasure unlike anything seen before in ancient Chinese history. As layers of dirt and stone were slowly chipped away, countless strange artifacts came into view. There were huge bronze masks with bulging eyes and human statues standing up to 10 feet tall. They also found beautifully made objects out of gold and jade. No other site in China had ever showcased such large, uniquely crafted masks or bronze statues. Each piece had features that made it truly one of a kind. The bronze masks sported high noses, elongated eyes, and ears that flared out, giving them a stern, enigmatic look. Some statues depicted human figures upright, arms stretched out as if they once held something sacred. Many items were adorned with spirals and animal desic, an S showcasing incredible artistic skill and metalwork. Scholars believe the Senoi culture thrived between 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, existing alongside the likes of ancient Egypt and the renowned Sumerian civilization in Mesopotamia. Yet, Sankingdui stood apart from any other culture in China. The bronze crafting techniques achieved here were unmatched, even by later dynasties like the Shang Zhou. Artisans managed to produce massive solid statues, life-sized masks, dragon heads, and intricate decorations, all with astonishing precision. The gold and jade artifacts presented completely unique styles and methods, adding to the enigma of the people who once inhabited this area. One puzzling detail that has left researchers scratching their heads is the fact that many Sangsinghui items show signs of having been burned or intentionally smashed before being burned or intentionally smashed before being burned. Buried. The huge bronze masks, human and dragon head statues, plus the gold and jade ornaments, are rarely found whole. Instead, they often display marks of destruction from fire. This has led many scholars to suggest the Sanshui civilization may have faced a major disaster, perhaps an earthquake, flood, or invasion that compelled the community to quickly bury or demolish their valuable belongings. Another theory suggests that these destructive acts were part of religious rituals, aimed at burying sacred items in large sacrificial pits as a way to mark the end of an era or pray for new beginnings. What adds even more intrigue to Chengdu is, even though the discoveries are huge, there's no solid proof that this place was ever the heart of a mighty dynasty. It doesn't even pop up in any ancient Chinese writings. The artifacts from Sanxing Dui don't align with the typical flow of Chinese history or culture. The masks, statues, and decorative items look nothing like what the Shanghai Han or any big culture that Sir ruled here created. This hints that the people of Singing Dui might have built a unique civilization that disappeared abruptly, leaving us scratching our heads about what really happened. Nowadays, the relics from Sangdui are kept safe at the Sichuan Provincial Museum, attracting millions of visitors and researchers from around the globe who come to admire and study them. The bronze, gold, and jade treasures from Sanchi haven't just reshaped our understanding of Chinese civilization. They've also sparked deep questions about the cultures that once thrived on Earth, only to fade away into history. As you continue your journey through the land of Oscar, get ready to find more massive stones with odd shapes and mysterious names. One of them is called Oni no Sakaman, meaning the demon's wash basin. Nobody knows how old this stone really is, but its flat top and wide surface led ancient folks to believe it was a giant basin where demons washed up every morning. Legend says that at dawn, a massive demon would show up by the nearby river, lean over the stone to wash its face, and then disappear into the woods. Next to it sits Oni no Mana, the demon's chopping board. This giant slab is the center of many creepy supernatural stories. Local lore suggests this is where demons sharpened their knives, chopped their victims, or cooked up meals for the night's creatures. Its flat, wide surface makes anyone who sees it shudder, imagining the dark rituals that might have happened there. But the mystery of Oni no Sakaman and Oni Mena isn't just about legends. These stones baffle modern researchers too, with their strange shapes and the sharp-cut marks on them. Some grooves are deep and perfectly straight, running along the rock as if made by tools or tech that seem way ahead of its time. The markings on these stones aren't like the rough cuts you see from basic stone tools. They look more like what modern machines would leave behind. This has sparked a bunch of theories about what these stones were really used for. Some think they were altars for old religious rites, maybe places where people offered water or food or prayed for protection from evil spirits during tough times. Others believe a mysterious civilization with advanced stone carving skills might be responsible, leaving us puzzled about their secrets. Whether they were sacred objects, useful tools, or just remnants of old stories, stones like Oni no Kan and Oni no Manita continue to be vital in the culture of Ascua's people. They stand as a testament to many supernatural tales and remain intriguing mysteries for those keen on uncovering the past. If you wander into the Oscar region or check out ancient burial spots like the Uama Coffin Tumilos, you'll stumble upon massive stone coffins resting quietly in nature. These coffins are jaw-dropping, not just for their sheer size, but also for the amazing detail in their carvings. They're usually cut into neat shapes with smooth surfaces and sharp corners, showing just how dedicated the ancient craftsmen were. One odd detail you'll notice if you take a close look is the carved stone knobs sticking out from these coffins. You'll often find them in the center or at the corners of the coffin lids. Sometimes they're big round bumps, while other times they're smaller and spaced evenly apart. What's even more fascinating is that these stone knobs are not just a Japan thing. If you dig into ancient stone structures in China, for example, like the Yangshan Quarry, you'll find big blocks with similar knobs artfully placed on them. And it doesn't stop there. These knobs can also be seen on the massive walls in Peru and Egypt. At sites like Sacsayhuaman in Peru or the pyramids in Egypt, many large stones are adorned with prominent round knobs. This odd pattern has left many researchers wondering, is there a hidden connection behind this carving technique? Could it be that ancient cultures were linked somehow or had a shared secret about working with stone? Even today, we're still puzzled about what those stone knobs were really for. Some people think they might have been used for lifting or moving those huge stones, but there's no solid proof that the builders did it that way. Other experts suggest the knobs could have had a deeper meaning, maybe used as markers or in forgotten rituals. There are also ideas that these knobs helped in putting together and moving large stone blocks, making it easier to balance or connect them. Whatever their real purpose was, Those giant stone coffins and their mysterious knobs keep catching the attention of scientists and visitors alike. They spark endless curiosity about the brilliance of ancient people. These remnants remind us that there are still secrets hidden within the construction techniques and spiritual lives of past civilizations waiting to be revealed. Now, let's talk about the kamahishi, or turtle stone. In the ancient landscape of Askuka, you can't miss this strange stone that looks just like a giant turtle. It has a shell, a head, and legs that are easy to spot. Long ago, people spent a lot of time admiring and carving the stone to celebrate its beauty and sacred meaning. Turtle stone stands out not just for its unique look, but also for the many legends that surround it. According to local tales, this stone can mysteriously turn its head to the west. Folks in the area believe that the moment it does, a massive flood will hit and all of Japan will go underwater. Even if it is just a story, the fear it brings has shaped the spiritual lives of Askuka's people for ages. Interestingly, some modern researchers think that turtle stone might have once acted as an ancient warning system for disasters. There are theories that its shape and position helped people of the past predict floods, earthquakes, or strange changes in nature. Others propose it might have magnetic properties, allowing it to track shifts in the earth. The ancient people might have been incredibly in tune with nature. They could have used natural signs to set up an early warning system that was both simple and effective. But turtle stone isn't just practical. It stands for endurance and protection too. Turtles symbolize strength and sticking it out against nature's challenges. Today, turtle stone stands firm in the fields of Osaka, quietly witnessing the shifts of time and reminding us of our connection to the earth. While the true meaning of turtle stone remains a mystery, it's deeply woven into Japan's cultural fabric. It serves as a reminder of ancient wisdom we might have lost along the way. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of human history's mysteries. If you like these stories, please hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss our future videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time for more amazing discoveries.